Hey guys, it's Heaven
and Nyja,
and welcome back to InHerself podcast,
where we talk about faith, family, finance, and friendship.
So make sure you like, share, and subscribe on all streaming platforms and turn on your post notifications so you know when we post.
Absolutely.
All right. Usually I like to say, how was your week and all this good stuff. We got to jump right in.
Well, can we say Happy Women's Month first? No? Okay. I'm going to say it anyway. Happy Women's Month, y'all.
Because I was on the phone with my good sister last night.
Here we go.
And we were just on the phone, just talking about, how life is good and God is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as y'all know, she reading this great book by Dr. Anita Phillips. And she proceeds to say...
So I was talking about how she was discussing boundaries and setting boundaries and the difference in what a boundary actually is. So when you set a boundary comes with a consequence. Meaning, okay, so if I say to you, my boundary is please do not yell at me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like when you communicate with me and you raise your voice. A boundary is if you yell at me, the consequence is I'm going to stop talking or communicating with you 100%. Like I'm not going to answer your phone calls anymore. I'm going to remove myself from this relationship. That's my consequence. The step 2 part that triggered me was she said, if you have a boundary without a consequence, then it is not a boundary. It's a preference. I said, wait a minute. Let me rewind.
Yeah.
Because what? She said, without that, then I just prefer you not to do that action. But without a consequence, that's not a boundary.
Yeah.
I said, I've been having preferences all my life.
That's all I have is preferences. I don't have boundaries.
Because there were never consequences for the action.
I'm going to allow you to do something over and over and over again. Be in my feelings about it. But I haven't told you if you continue to do this or you continue to act this way, I'm straight. Or there would be a disconnect, or I'm stiff arming you. I don't have that.
No.
Because it's the level of people pleasing.
Yes, because I'm afraid that if I tell you what the consequence is, then you're going to be okay with my absence.
Yeah.
And because I struggled with abandonment issues, I'm willing to put up with your action even though it's harming me.
Yeah.
I said, I gotta change.
And then majority of the time, because we were looking at a post, is when you tell somebody, hey, I don't prefer you do this, you become the issue.
Ooh, let's talk about that.
It's like, oh, well, you don't. Or here's another one. You waited this long to tell me that.
Yeah, actually, I did. Because I thought that you would somehow understand and read my body language or get to know me and my spirit to say, okay, maybe is everything okay? But you're so self-centered. The only thing you think about is you. And I'm not going to just say that it's us because granted, you should express your feelings and say, hey, this makes me feel some type of way.
Yeah.
Or when you do X, Y, Z, I do that, but I don't put a consequence behind it after I've expressed to you how that action makes me feel.
Because to me, with certain people, I should be able, but that's the thing, the expectations, putting expectations on people. But with certain people, I feel like you should know me well enough to know, stop doing that. But then other people, I'm like, well, I have to tell you if you do that, I'm leaving.
Well, let's talk about the timeline.
Okay.
Because if you have a new friend or someone that is new in your life, whether it be relationship or whether it be a female friend or whatever, and you've been knowing the person for 3 months or a year, what's the timeline of someone or you feel like someone should know you?
That's a great question. You put me on the spot because I was going to say something that I probably shouldn't.
Okay.
That's a good I don't know.
Because what is a realistic expectation? Because what you just said was you should know me well enough to know that thing bothers me. But how long do you expect someone to know you or to get to know you?
Yeah. I feel like once we've been through something,
ding, 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 that's
where it's a little bit like, okay, we done been through something for real and you should, and we came out of this, so there should be a level of you knowing me. I always say, and granted, people be like, that's not true. If I haven't really been through nothing with you, like we ain't had a little tussle, or you ain't seen me down and bad, no makeup on, no lashes, snot and crying out to the Lord, you don't know.
That is what I was wanting you to see if it was going to come out. If you have not been through the fiery furnace with somebody, they have not been through your down in the valley, that's not your friend yet.
Yeah.
And we throw that title around very loosely. Family, we cannot choose.
Right.
You're family by design. Friendship, I get to choose. You become family to me. And if we have not been through anything and you cannot stand or withstand my struggle, we ain't friends.
Yeah.
Because that's when you get to know the person for real. That's when I know if you really got my back for real. If I'm up here throwing up cuss bombs and everything else because I'm going through it, I'm trying to figure my way out and you're judging me, then I got to reevaluate my tribe.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think it's easier to put, well, no, I'm not even going to say that. It's not easier in relationships with a male or a female, like not women and women. I think it's a little bit easier for us to put up boundaries because for whatever reason, women try to get to know their fellow friend a little bit deeper. It's like, you don't really got to tell me your boundaries, sis, because I know you for real. If we walk in the building and somebody say something to you that's a trigger, I already know. Let me step into this for real and be like, that's not the time and the place. Let's not do that because she's gonna cuss you out. Like we don't want to do that.
Right.
But in relationships with a man and a woman, to me, men hold the I give them the Oscar award, the Emmy nomination, all them Grammys, every award known for them setting them boundaries.
Okay.
But women
Don't have them.
no, baby, it's
We have
okay.
preferences.
Yeah, I prefer you not cheat on me. But if you do,
I'm going to forgive you.
yeah. And that's how men walk all over. Then we be like, why I keep getting cheated on? Why I don't feel good enough? You not setting the boundary that listen to me good.
The consequence is you do this.
I'm leaving.
It is OVER.
It's done.
Consequence.
But because what your mama
okay. So what the good Dr. Reverend Benita, aka my mama, said
yes.
was back in the day, she would say women will always say, or they would feel like a piece of a man is better than no man at all. And so you put up with the stuff that you would typically, your heart does not desire because you're afraid to be alone.
And y'all have to be so for real. I don't want to hear another story about this man because y'all come to us.
Yeah.
He will do whatever and then it's like, oh, he cheated on me again. The third time, but you never told him you was leaving. So now he okay with it.
Sis, we ain't talking about just cheating on. I mean, bruh man got baby when you was together. Let's talk about this thing. Brother got debt that you ain't know about. Brother done put debt in your social security number. Brother brother got stuff going on. I'm talking about line after line after line after
3 o'clock
line
in the morning, but you don't like that.
But that's a preference.
Yeah.
And then you complain because you don't set boundaries.
Yep.
And not only set them, but discuss the boundary and say, let's talk about this. Even the good US of A has laws that say, listen to me. You do this.
You going to jail.
You're going to jail.
You're going to jail. So we have to start creating and setting these boundaries or we're going to continue to be lost.
Yeah.
Or we're going to continue to say, well, it's 20 years in the game. He just getting it together. Because he's tired of acting like that. Not because you set the standard and said, I'm not going to continue for you to act like that. There's a difference.
And that goes because of you don't know your value that you hold. The Lord has really been dealing with me, just me on that for real, for real. Do you understand how valuable you are? Without someone ever telling you, without someone ever give you any accolade, because I created you, because I took my time. That's what makes you valuable. So if you never get it from anybody else, the pastor preached about this a couple months ago about the value of a $20 bill and a $100 bill. It doesn't matter if you crinkle it up. It don't matter if you step on it. It don't matter if you throw it up in the air. You could even cut it, but you could put it back together. Guess what it is? Still $20.
Still $20.
Still $100.
Usable.
You could come on and be usable. Do you understand?
Yeah.
But because you really don't understand what weight you hold. And so if my absence make you free to do you and be, then please, there is a door.
Yeah. So I guess my question as a single person to a married person, in the how long or when do you say, all right, young man, all right, we done had our first and our second date, but these are my boundaries. And because I feel like there's different boundaries in dating and in marriage. Okay. So I'll start with the dating portion. If I'm dating you, what boundaries am I setting? Like, you don't got 3:00 in the morning, sure, but we don't live together. But like, what boundaries would you set in dating?
So rule 101, thou shalt know thyself first. Do you understand?
Yeah.
You have to know your triggers. You have to know your likes and more than dislikes. For me, I always tell you this all the time. Stop focusing on what you don't like. Focus on what you do like. I remember a conversation that you and I had a few years ago. I said, I always hear you say what you don't like.
We are so excited to officially announce that we have launched our Patreon. By signing up, you will become a member of our In Her Circle community.
You'll receive exclusive access to our content that is only available to our Patreons, such as behind the scenes, live discussions, and Discord. But most importantly, first dibs on new merch.
To register, visit our link tree in the bio or the description below.
See you at the circle. What do you like? Because you always focusing on, I don't want him to do this. He can't do this. You're going to keep attracting that because that's all you focusing on. But what do you like? So first, let's attract the right person. Then when you have that, he that finds a wife finds a good thing. We don't date just to be dating. We're dating because are you the one are you my person that I said I want to spend the rest of my life with? If he found you and that he has qualities of a great husband that you're looking for, because it's not about being the perfect one, it's about being the purposed one.
Right.
Because even in my marriage right now, I was like, okay, so I'm not really sure if what I really want, because I'm just trying to find myself. Okay, is this what I'm willing to deal with or put up with or whatever the situation is? And I had to get to know me. My husband cared enough about me to change who he was to make sure that he was who I needed him to be, and vice versa. What I have found to be tried and true about anybody I've talked to, most of the time, guys change because they want to change, not because you said, did, acted, slept with, bounced.
I have to drill that.
That happened.
We have to drill that because women believe that it's solely them.
No.
Oh, I made him change. The devil is a liar.
There's nothing that you said, did, wanted. He changed because he wanted to change.
Yeah.
And you are receiving the fruit of him changing. And so if you're in a situation right now where you're waiting years and he's saying, I'm not sure if I want to get married, or let's wait, or let's this date, or he's trying to figure it out because you ain't the one.
I feel like there's more of a respect level when you give somebody, and we're going to talk about relationships, but in any relationship, when you give somebody the boundary, because if I'm allowing you to do these things, that's why men do them. Because it's like, okay, she letting me do it. It is what it is. But when if you do this is how I'm going to react. It's like, oh, I'm going to think about that before I do it.
It's called setting expectations.
Right. Because the consequence is she might leave me. And I think I like her real bad. Let me not act on that. But if you just, okay, yeah, you can go and do as you please, people are going to do what you allow them to do.
So a conversation goes back to doing that. So you're at dinner or you're at wherever you want to date someone at, and you have a conversation, a one-on-one. Okay, so what are your expectations in this relationship? What do you expect from me? Okay, so I expect you to text me back when I text. I expect that you're supposed to, let's go out once a week. I expect you not to be entertaining other women. I expect you not to be entertaining other men. Are we exclusive? Or are we not exclusive? Are you still in inboxes of other people? Where are we in this relationship? Do you desire to get married? You have those conversations, those tough conversations that people feel like it's going to run him off. Baby, if you're going to run.
Yeah.
Because I ain't got time to waste with you.
Run. I'm begging you to run.
I want you to run.
Yeah.
But if you are solid and you know what you want to get out of a relationship, let's have a conversation. Here are my boundaries too. So what I do not tolerate is cheating on no capacity, no level. If you want to cheat, be single.
Yeah. Do you think that also, as the relationship progresses and some of the things that you do see him do, because sometimes we don't know that things bother us until somebody actually does it. I feel like it's okay to say, hey, so you've been on the game for 12 hours. I can't deal with that.
I need one-on-one time.
But you didn't notice that was his his trend when y'all, early in the relationship, but now you see it. So it's okay to set that boundary. But my my thing would be, because people say, I've been doing this. Like, this is what I've been doing. So what you mean you want me to change because of that?
Number one, what I've learned too is timing of conversations with men matter. When you say it and how you say it. So you could tell him the worst thing in the world, but when you choose to say it and how you choose to say it, it's going to determine how he going to receive it.
I can only think of one way that a young man is going to receive anything well from a young lady.
Okay, you mean after?
Yeah.
Understood. If that is the way that you have to go about doing that, then to praise the Lord. But I will say, because I used to be that chick that used to say it in an aggressive manner, like, yo, like, da-da-da-da, like, what's going on? Can you please? Because I'm not, if you came at me like that, I wouldn't want to receive that. So do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Having a conversation, you notice a trend, you don't like it. Another opportunity when y'all are on a date.
Right.
And y'all have eaten already and you just conversing. Hey, babe, so what I've noticed is, like, what I need is TLC. And I've noticed that a lot of time is being spent on a game. So is there a way that you can kind of cut that down a little bit so that I can get, up under you and make them understand in a very vulnerable way? Not rah.
Because I can't hear you.
I
can't hear you, all of that yelling. I think for me, I need to start with, and we were talking about this last night, with my dad. Because I let that young man walk. He do whatever he please, contact when he pleases, lies as he pleases, makes up things as he pleases. And I'm like, you are disturbing my peace. But I let him, because I'm like, again, it's not a piece of a man. It is a piece of a man, but it's not in that situation. It's like any piece of my dad, I'm like, bet. Let me respond back. I ain't heard from you in 6 months, but let me respond back anyway. I have to stop doing that.
Because what you receive from your dad, who is the one who is supposed to show you how a man is supposed to treat you, you would then in turn allow your spouse to do the same thing.
Right.
Because you're longing for that level of connection from a man, from the guy, from the gentleman, from your dad, the way. So yes, boundaries are necessary. Same thing with me. I'm in a little bit of a different situation capacity, because as I've discussed, I feel like my dad is dealing with some, mental challenges as well. So my compassion is a different level, but nevertheless, I still have boundaries. Boundaries are set up when they start disturbing your peace. Let me say that one more time. We set up boundaries when your peace is being disturbed, when your inner peace is being ruffled. That is when you set up boundaries. It's like, okay, so I'm going through life. I'm going through my day to day. You do something that disturbs me. Okay, so why did that bother me? What happened? Why did that action that you just did, why did that just trigger me?
Yeah.
So I need to set up boundaries. If it's not me, sometimes it could be you. Like, my trigger used to be people crunching real loud. That was me though.
Yeah, that's bad.
It's kind of weird. Okay, but that's not a trigger. That's me just being weird, right?
Yeah.
But if it's something that your action is causing offense to me, you lying, you cheating, you being disrespectful, things like that, I'm not tolerating.
Yeah, I can't do it anymore. And I won't. Yesterday, when we had the conversation, that was the last day. And I just have to, because we talked about last week, I want to make sure that I'm watching my words. I don't want to hurt his feelings, but I'm tired of him hurting mine. I feel like he's got a million passes of, I'm going to just do what I want to do. I'm going to come in your life and enter my life and do all of that. It's been 10 years since I have physically laid eyes on you. You will no longer be able to disturb my peace through a text message. I'm not doing it. So I have to just find a way to say, hey, so you coming in and out my life, texting me every 6 months or saying you're going to give me money and you not, even though I don't ask for it. I'm no longer tolerating that anymore.
Have you ever tried to change the expectations?
There aren't any.
There are. Because if you didn't have any expectations, you wouldn't be offended.
Sure. Because I feel like I do have a level of expectation because you're my dad, but then again, I don't, because you have showed me the things that you've promised or the things I have expected have fell short. So I don't have it. I just want you to stop messaging me every 6 months when you get a chance to. Like, it's like, oh yeah, I do have a child. Let me reach out. It's like, be for real.
So again, the question is, have you considered changing and I'm not saying this is easy. And I'm saying this because I personally have had to do this for my dad. I stopped literally praying about it changed my expectation of what he could offer me. So no matter what he did, I literally don't expect it. If you text me, it's like, oh, you text. Like literally, you have to change your expectation. If somebody shows you who they are, the good doctor Maya Angelou said, believe them.
Right.
And I'm not saying that it's easy, because it definitely is not. You should be able to expect your father to be present in your life.
I don't want it anymore.
But you do, though. And
I don't.
You don't want it.
No,
but you
I don't want what I'm receiving.
Right. You don't want to desire.
So leave me alone in general.
But because you desire it still is why it still bothers you.
I think that I'm getting to a point where, because I am like, it's been so long and anything can happen. God is amazing. I mean, he can walk into my life today and we can be the best of father and daughter. But because what I have been experiencing for the 27 years of my life have been the same, I want to try something different, as in leave me alone.
I was not supposed. I am not laughing, but you got issues.
We've been doing the same tit for tat. The same, I'm going to reach out every 6 months. The same, I'm always been a year. Let's try something different.
Wait a minute. I'm really trying to take you serious, but
I'm
that
for
was
real.
hilarious. That's why it's funny, because I wasn't expecting you to say that, but I get it. And so my question is, have you had a conversation about, number one, your expectations as your father, and number two, boundaries, now that we know that boundaries result in consequences, in order for you to be, number one, at peace, and number two, seek wholeness.
Yeah.
Have you had that conversation?
I've set expectation. I have. When I turned 18 and there was no mom has to talk to dad, I set, and I continue to set expectations. You don't meet them. Trigger one. We done with that.
Okay.
The second one, you gotta laugh to keep from crying, maybe.
Right.
The second one, what was the question?
See? Boundaries. Now that we know what boundaries are.
Right.
Okay.
I don't know. I didn't know what that was until we've had this conversation as of yesterday. And so my thing was, I want to make sure I set boundaries, but in the most respectful way, because he is still my father and he is still God's child.
Right.
Heaven, the flesh in heaven could care less how I'm going to tell you to leave me alone. I could care less because I'm tired of it.
But that's real. Honestly, I'm going to always tell you, embrace your authenticity. If that is the way you feel right now, own your feelings. That's what's in your heart, and 100%. I'm always about how do we move forward too.
Right. So now I'm going to have a conversation with the daddy that's always been there and say, how do you want me to respond to your child? Anything I say is going to hurt his feelings, and that's not my desire. I want him to leave the conversation whole. I want him to be able to I want him to have a better relationship with the other two children that he has. If I don't have a relationship with my dad up until the day that I die, or up until the day that he dies right now, because it may change, I am okay.
Yeah.
I want you to be a better father for the two that are 10 years younger than me. You have time.
Yeah.
And not saying in my 40s, my 50s, we can't make it work, but it's a little bit like, bruh, like, I done been this long without you. I'm cool. But these children are 16. You can make something shake with that. That is my desire at this very present moment, because things could change.
Only because I know you. I hear you. I want you to understand that I do hear what you're saying. But because I know you, I know that you're not okay. Because I know Heaven Monet when she is good, and when she is saying she good because she wants and she desires to be good. I feel like you desire to be good, but you're not, because of the way that it still triggers you. Speaking from a personal experience with my dad as well, that's another reason why I can relate to you on daddy issues, is that at the end of having kids, I desire from my children do not know him.
Right.
And as much as he says, I want to be around grandkids, like when I do bring you, it's like, okay, I'm ready to go. all right, so I'm finna go get me XYZ. And I'm like, you just got here like 20 minutes ago, even for like holidays or whatever, like what's going on? And that bothers me not only for myself, because again, I'm an adult. I am well grown at this point, but my children don't have a relationship with you. And I didn't have a relationship with my grandfathers because both of them were passed. I think by the time I was born, I only had my grandmothers. So that was it. And so right now, it's not that it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me as bad as it did before, because I'm still learning how to release the expectation of, especially when I see my friends with great relationships with their fathers.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, why can't I have that? So I don't ever want you to psych yourself out to keep thinking that if I keep saying it enough, it's going to happen to believe, well, I'm good. You may not ever be completely good, but you learn how to cope. That's the difference. I've learned how to be okay in the situation that our relationship is not where I truly desire for it to be. The reason why when your name comes across my phone, I'm still in expectation and hope that maybe this time it's different. And when you find out that it's not, that's what hurts.
Yeah.
It's because it's like, I'm good that you still like, but because I believe in a God who is able to do exceedingly and abundantly, because I know that God can change, because I have changed, because he's changed me. My hope is that this time it's different. That's the reason why a lot of women put up with the things they put up with, because you're saying this apology this time, I hope that it's different. That you genuinely, the light bulb has went off, and now I'm enough. Baby, you always been enough. You're going to always be enough. But it's the point of setting proper boundaries, not preferences. I don't prefer you not to do this action. I'm telling you, you got to stop.
Yeah.
And if you don't, this is the consequence. And I am strong enough, I'm beautiful enough, I'm whole enough, I'm bold enough to say that if you try me like this one more time, my absence will be a reality for your life. Period.
And so I want you to voice record that, because that's getting sent to that young man.
You know what?
That's just the space I'm in right now.
I know.
Just honestly, like, and it's just fresh. Like, it ain't like I'm talking to y'all and this happened 6 months ago. This is just yesterday.
Yeah.
That I got a text message and I said, be so for real.
Yeah.
So it's something that I'm working through. I'm glad that we had this conversation, because now I can set boundaries. And my preference is for you not to keep texting me every 6 months. But my boundary is, hey, the cutoff game might be a little bit strong. And I know his desire is to talk to me every 6 months, but you won't get that at all.
Because that's not what I need for my peace.
Yeah.
So no matter if it's your friends, it can be your mama, your daddy, sister, auntie, cousin, brother, co-worker, whoever it is. Know the difference. Know your expectations, number one. Set your boundaries. Know your preferences. And if you have a boundary, it needs to be a consequence. Shout out to Dr. Anita Phillips for that book. Y'all go read it.
I'm gonna have to read it now, because everybody else gonna read it, and I'm gonna be the only one not reading it.
The Garden Within, shout out to her, because baby, I said, this is a good nugget. But
that's why I need therapy. InHerself, she is love.
InHerself, she is beautiful. InHerself,
she is strong. See you next week.